These are higher numbers than I have ever seen. And this is still just like a little bit odd to me. I haven't found somewhere where something is available on my time frame. Another thing I kind of stocked up on in preparation for this trip. I legitimately feel different. I am not entirely sure what is going on with my metrics here in terms of readiness and sleep. These are higher numbers than I have ever seen, and I really don't feel like I've changed anything. I have a couple of ideas, but nothing that I can imagine would be impacting my metrics this much, so kind of interesting. I mean, I'll take it, it's great, but what is going on? I am just about to go into a therapy session, but a couple of thoughts that I had about my Oura Ring data, my super high readiness score lately. It's definitely been going up over the past week or so. And like I said, I don't think I've ever seen numbers that high, especially not consistently. And whenever I get data like that or feedback like that, I'm always sort of trying to figure out okay, have I been doing anything differently? What might be contributing, whether positively or negatively? And this is still just a little bit odd to me because I think, like I've said, I haven't noticed a huge change in how I'm feeling physically. If I didn't have that data and I was just going by what my objective measurement of how I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis is, I would say that yes, I am feeling a little bit better. I feel a little more clear-headed. It's a little easier to kind of get out of bed in the morning. I don't have quite that heavy feeling, less sort of groggy, and maybe just a little bit better energy throughout the day. But I still have a big crash at night. I feel very tired at night. I'll still usually have kind of lower energy in the afternoon. In general, everything is somewhat the same, maybe just slightly better on all fronts, but I wouldn't have suspected to see a difference in my actual metrics to be that high. So a couple of things that I have thought that could be contributing, none of which I would think would contribute so much that I would see that big of a jump. But one, I've talked about my low dose naltrexone and how I had played around with increasing that dose over time, keeping in mind that this is all under the supervision of my doctor. I'm not just changing medication doses on my own. But she had given me kind of an outline for like how to increase it, see what I noticed, like see if I could get up to a certain point. And I had been taking 3 milligrams. So like for a long time, I had just been on a steady 3 milligram dose. Had to come off of it when I had my cosmetic surgery. So I was off of it for like a month. And then the kind of experiment started after that when I went back on it. So I started off at a very small dose, worked my way back up to 3, and then kind of continued to slowly increase it up. I got up to 9 milligrams, and that's when I started to notice more of the kind of groggy feeling that I've been talking about. It's just sort of like this full body heaviness, like my muscles feel kind of heavy. It just feels like I'm moving through sand, kind of have brain fog. Thought that might have been related to the increased naltrexone dose. So I brought it back down a little bit, and I've been back at 6 milligrams now for, I think I've been on that dose for like 10 days, maybe close to 2 weeks at this point. So I'm wondering if that might be part of it. It might just be that I found a better dose for me there where I'm getting the benefits from it, which include like regulating your immune system and reducing inflammation, but maybe without getting that side effect for me of like having that sort of more groggy, heavy feeling. And the only thing I could think that's different recently is that I stopped taking all of my supplements because I'm getting ready to do these additional gut tests. And my doctor wanted me to be off of everything for at least a week beforehand, just to make sure that I'm not impacting those tests in any way. I really stopped taking basically all of my supplements about a week ago, I think, maybe a little less than a week. Again, could that be contributing? Maybe. It seems a little bit odd to me that just like stopping my supplements for 5 or 6 days would have that much of an impact on the metrics that contribute to something like my readiness or recovery. But maybe, I guess I don't know. At the same time, I've stopped taking my supplements before. Like I had to do that also before my surgery. So I was off all my supplements for like 2 weeks before and then had to kind of like slowly reintroduce them afterwards. Definitely didn't notice that same effect in that time frame. There have been plenty of other times where I've had to stop taking supplements, either for a specific test or just to take a break for some reason, and have never had that effect. Maybe it's a combination of both those things. I don't know. But those are the only 2 things that I can really say have changed in the last week or 2. And really, I think it's been like the last maybe 5 or 6 days where I've noticed this sort of steady increase in both my sleep scores, my recovery score, and like the metrics that go into those scores. So I just find that really interesting. I've just kind of been noting down anything I can think of. And I also don't know yet if this is truly like a trend or a pattern. Like maybe I'm just sleeping a little better for whatever reason, and so these numbers are going up, and maybe it's going to come back down to more of like what I would consider my normal or my baseline. So I'll have to kind of see how that plays out over the next couple weeks. Well, the high readiness and sleep scores continue. Still not entirely sure what's going on, but it's good. I'm curious if it will continue. It is Saturday morning, which means it's farmer's market day, so I just got over here. I'm going to take a look around, see what they've got, and grab a few things for the week. It is much later in the day, and I am back on my search for a place to stay in Virginia. It's been a little trickier than I expected to find something that I could rent for like 2-ish months. There's not a lot of like Airbnb options, and then there are a lot of like apartment buildings in this area, but the furnished rental options are not really available right now, or at least I haven't found somewhere where something is available on my time frame. Granted, I am doing this a little bit last second because my plan is to be out there by the beginning or sometime around the beginning of August, which is like next week. I mean, I wouldn't be going next week, but in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, I still have a couple of places I can check in with that do short-term furnished apartment rentals to see if they have anything available. But so far, like everybody I've talked to, they've kind of like sent me on to somebody else. And then I've just kind of been periodically rechecking Airbnb and VRBO to see if there are any things I've missed or new things that have come up. Just checking again to see if I can find anything. I'm also looking to book a place back out in Washington State because I will be going back there to the clinic where I had my cosmetic surgery for my 6-month follow-up in October. Just got that all scheduled. So going into that, I knew I would have to go back at the 6-month mark to do one final in-person follow-up appointment, and that would technically be coming up like around the end of September, but the way the scheduling worked out, it worked best for all of us to do the beginning of October. That obviously is a little further in the future, so I don't need to like maybe book something right now, but I do want to kind of get a feel for what is out there. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on Airbnb and apartment websites lately, but hopefully I can nail something down here pretty soon.
By delivering dynamic.com.
This fall, for Tommy Williams drunkenly drove his vehicle into a
It's about 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. I just finished a red light session and I'm now about to head to the chiropractor. And I think this might actually be the last time I see my chiropractor for quite a while. He's going to be out of town the end of this week for like a week, and then that'll be right around the time that I am planning to be heading out to Virginia. So if that all pans out as planned, then this would be my last chiropractor appointment, at least here for the next couple of months. I would definitely plan on finding a chiropractor in Virginia that I could see while I'm there, but that might take me a little bit of time to find somebody there. So gotta make this appointment count. And then once I get home, I think I should have an email from somebody with a few more options of apartments or places that I could rent in Richmond. So fingers crossed I'll have a few more options by the end of the day. Because it's definitely getting to be a little bit last minute with that if I really am planning to be heading out there by the end of next week. Well, I have not yet heard back from a couple people that I had contacted about potential rental units in Richmond, which is a little concerning because I feel like that means either they don't have anything available or they're trying to find something and not really coming up with much. But yeah, I guess I really didn't think it was going to be this difficult to find a place to stay in the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia. Anyway, in the meantime, I did receive a package today that was another thing I kind of stocked up on in preparation for this trip, and that was a big order of my favorite protein bars that I really like to use for travel, mostly just for travel. Like, it's not something that I necessarily would eat as much on a day-to-day basis unless I'm like really on the go or just don't have anything else available. But I do really like these for traveling. I would definitely want to take these on my road trip when I'm driving to Virginia. And I've always found it kind of difficult to find protein bars that have decent ingredients and that taste good. So I just wanted to share the brand that I really like. I have no affiliation with them, but they are actually a small, like, family-owned company based in Minnesota. So that's kind of cool. And I have noticed actually recently that some more people kind of in the health and wellness space have been talking about these particular protein bars. So kind of nice to see small local company getting that recognition. In fact, they are called RAR bars. RAR bars? RAR bars? And I just got a couple of boxes of like variety of flavors because I like all of the different flavors that they have. I'd say my favorites are, this one is lemon poppy. There's also dark chocolate mint. and a pumpkin pecan one that I really like. But I got a bunch of other flavors too because honestly, I really do like all of them. They have about 20 grams of protein per bar. They are plant-based. I'm not sure if they're all technically vegan, but I would think so. They're made with organic pea protein. They're not overly sweet. They taste really good. That's actually one thing that I find with a lot of protein bars is that they're too sweet or they use artificial sweeteners, and I don't love that. But these are made with organic pea protein, organic coconut nectar, almond butter. Some of them are made with peanut butter or sunflower seed butter or cashew butter as well. There's organic pecans, organic cold pressed coconut oil, organic ground flaxseed, organic unsulfured blackstrap molasses, organic spices, and Himalayan pink sea salt. That's in the pumpkin pecan one, but all the ingredients are really similar in the other ones. If they have chocolate in them, it's like organic raw cocoa and organic dark chocolate. They're gluten-free. They're very low in added sugar. So like I said, they don't taste overly sweet, and they're really good balance of protein, carbs, and fat. So like you're not gonna get a huge blood sugar spike. I just really like everything about them and have not found another protein bar that I feel like is worth eating as much as these are. So just want to share it in case you are looking for something that can maybe help you reach your protein goals or to have on the go. These do need to be kept refrigerated and they'll last for 6 months refrigerated, but you can also take them on the go and they'll last for a month out of the fridge. They'll just get a little bit soft at room temperature. Sometimes I'll actually just put them in the freezer, like if I'm gonna be traveling on a plane or something and want them to stay cold longer, I'll store them in the freezer and then just take them out and like a couple hours later, they're good to go. But yeah, raw bars, highly recommend. We'll be taking lots of these with me on my trip. Good morning, it is Wednesday morning, it's about 6:40. Just about to go outside for a few minutes of morning sunlight exposure, but I was kind of waiting for it to like get a little brighter out this morning because it seemed very overcast and just kind of dark. And I just realized that we have another air quality alert. Wildfire smoke, and it's really pretty bad. It's like in the red category from today through Saturday. Today's Wednesday, all the way through Saturday, we're gonna have this air quality alert in effect, which seems kind of crazy, but I guess this is what we're gonna have to be dealing with for the next several days. So I guess I'm gonna have to really like limit my morning sunlight time the next few days, or just try to cover up my face and not breathe in that air. But man, I can't even imagine what it must be like in Canada where these wildfires are if it's this bad here. I am in the gym right now in the middle of my leg workout, but I have to say, not only is my Oura ring data still looking really good, like higher numbers than I've ever seen, definitely for a longer period of time than I've ever seen, but I legitimately feel different. I'd say it's been 7-8 days or so now in a row where not only are my recovery numbers really high, but just like everything feels easier. My workouts feel easier, it's easier to get out of bed in the morning, I don't have that heavy, groggy feeling, and I don't want to jinx it, I don't want to assume that this is a new normal, because I have had times in the past where like I'll have had 2 weeks or so where things feel really different. I feel really good. I think it's a new trend, or like I've turned a corner or something, and then after a couple of weeks I'll start going back to what I would consider more my normal or my baseline. So it's been a little over a week now, and I'm obviously hoping it will continue like this, but it's just really interesting, and I mean, I'll take it for now. I feel better and that's really helpful. We'll see what happens once I reintroduce my supplements, which will be probably not till the end of next week or maybe even after. I have to do all of my additional gut tests first before I can start up my supplements again, and I think I'm going to be doing those early next week if I can. So it's possible that like reintroducing supplements I might notice something. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but it's amazing how much just like a little bit of improvement, a little bit lessening of all of my symptoms makes such a huge difference. So still don't totally know what's going on, but I'm not complaining. It's about 11:30 now. I just got done with a dermaplaning appointment, so I didn't do like a full facial, but just getting the dermaplaning done to kind of help with skin turnover and dehydration, like allow my skin to be able to absorb moisture better. So my skin always feels really nice after that. I also wanted to do a little Invisalign update because I switched over to a new Invisalign tray this morning, and I've mentioned before that like I've been doing them much more slowly than was actually planned. I could be, or I'm supposed to be, switching them every week, but that just feels like a little too fast for me. Like I just feel like my body doesn't adapt as well, and I'm just a little more uncomfortable than I want to be when I do it that quickly. And if I do it every 2 weeks, then I feel like things have a chance to adjust and really kind of adapt and settle before I'm switching it up again. And it just means that the Invisalign is going to take longer. Like, it doesn't really matter if I do it every 2 weeks instead of every week. But what I have noticed is in the last few weeks, there's been a much more of a shift in how my bite actually feels in a really good way. Like, I feel much more even. I had a lot of contact like on my back right molars and not so much on my left. And now I feel like it's a lot more balanced. And with that change, I've also noticed that kind of like the tension I had on the right side of my neck. So for a while during kind of that transition period where I think that shift was happening, I had kind of a weird tension thing happening in the right side of my neck that just was different than what I would normally experience. And it would kind of come and go, but it seemed to really come on like each time I would switch to the new Invisalign. And now I think I've kind of maybe transitioned in almost like a new phase where things feel a lot more balanced. That tension has really gone away. And I've even noticed like going to the chiropractor, like my adjustments have been going better. It used to be that I always kind of would have an area on the upper right side of my neck that would be really prominent or need to get adjusted. And like we almost haven't even had to go there recently. It's been a lot better. And just like my bite feels more comfortable overall. So that's been really nice. I still have a ways to go with the Invisalign because I am taking so long to do it and doing it every other week. But for now, just kind of doing that every other week schedule, which seems to be working well for me. And if it means it takes a lot longer to be done with it, that's fine. But I think I'm going to end off this video here. So I did also get an email this morning from a contact I had about apartment rentals in Richmond and seem to have a very promising option now. I don't have all the details yet. Need to kind of like dig into that today, but I'm really hopeful and like fingers crossed that I may have found a good place to stay for the next couple months, in which case next week I might really be prepping for a road trip to Virginia. So we'll see. Hopefully this will all work out, and the next video will be kind of like packing and prepping. If you want to follow along in this road trip Virginia adventure, you can subscribe down below, and I'll see you next week.